Assalamu alaikum, dear listeners. Hope you are well. I have been talking about tense for few days. My today's talk is about past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense presents two events happened in the past. One event continued for some times before another event. Suppose when I say I had been living in Florida before I went to London. Here I had been living in Florida is past perfect continuous tense. Before I lived in London. Past perfect continuous tense is used for an action that began before a certain point in the past and continued up to that time. Or past perfect continuous tense expresses longer actions in the past before another action in the past, or continued in the past and ended in the past. Both actions are happened in the past. Suppose this is a margin and past indicates the left side and present indicates the right side. So two things happened one after another. One thing happened at 8 a.m., another happened at 10 a.m. Suppose Shaheen started waiting at 8 a.m. I arrived at 10 a.m. Shaheen started waiting at 8 a.m. I arrived there at 10 a.m. So the sentence will be, when I arrived, Shaheen had been waiting for 2 hours. Who had been waiting first? Shaheen, from 8 to 10 a.m. So the formula of past perfect continuous tense will be applied on Shaheen. Shaheen had been waiting for 2 hours. When I arrived, my arrival is after Shaheen had been waiting. My arrival is at 10 a.m. and Shaheen had been waiting from 8 a.m. So when I arrived, two sentences here which took place after later, that will be only simple past tense, and which took place earlier, that will be past perfect continuous tense, and had been verb plus ing for 2 hours, etc. So formation: we, I, we, they had been waiting, living, or working. The past perfect continuous tense may be of different kinds. One event before another event. We had been playing football before it started to rain. We had been playing football before it started to rain. Both actions happened in the past time, but we had been playing before it started raining. So we had been playing football before it started rain. Rain started only past simple past tense. It rained. Event plus duration. They had been making the building before 6 months or since February. You know, to build a building, it needs minimum 6 months. To 1 year or 2 years, whatever may be. So they had been making the building for 6 months. For 6 months. So event duration. Here event means duration, or since February. They had been making the building. So they had been make plus ing, making the building for 6 months. Events happening plus pattern or state. We had been doing the work regularly. Happening plus cause. She got tired because she had been reading all day. She got tired. This is simple past tense, because she had been reading all day. Because she had been reading all day. Only action verbs. We can apply past perfect continuous tense only on action verbs, not stative verbs. Only on action verbs. Action verbs means jump, buy, support, eat, etc. Work, jog, read, etc. So he had been working. He had been jogging. He had been reading. Action verbs we can apply past perfect continuous tense. But when it is a stative verb which only states no any action, the verbs are known as stative verbs, such as believe, love, dislike, etc., which are mental state, which actions do not mean activities. So these are stative verbs. These stative verb does not support or cannot be used when it is past perfect continuous tense. So we cannot write he had been knowing. Know, to be aware something. He had been hating. He had been liking. No. He had been understanding. No. So believe, love, dislike, etc. is not, stative verbs are not used in past perfect continuous. Now we like to state three kinds of sentences in past perfect continuous tense. You have already known that the formation of past perfect continuous tense is subject plus had been plus verb plus ing plus object. Positive sentence, he had been waiting. Normally subject, had been, wait, ing. He had been waiting. Negative, he hadn't been or had not been. There is a construction. There is a contraction. There is a contraction. Hadn't. ACD NOT forms together a contraction. Hadn't. The pronunciation is hadn't. He hadn't been or he had not been waiting. Okay. Now what about question? It commences with only had. Had I, you, they been waiting? Had I, you, they been waiting? I had been waiting. So had comes before subject. Had I, you, they been waiting? Positive. I, verb look. make it for the pen. I look for the pen. What will be? I had been looking for the pen. Okay. Ali prepare for his examination. Ali had been preparing for his examination. Sumi expect to get promotion. Sumi expects to get promotion. What will be past participle form? Past perfect continuous tense form. Sumi had been expecting to get a promotion. Negative formation I have already given. Hadn't been. Negative formation. He attend classes regularly. So he hadn't been. Attend will be attending. Classes regularly. She check her email. She hadn't been. Check will be checking. CHECKING her email. Okay. Now what about question? You know, when it is question in past perfect continuous tense, had is placed before subject. So had she feel? Had she been feeling unwell? Had she been feeling unwell? She was feeling unwell. It's question. Had they talked each other? Had they been talking each other? Some errors we often do. Selim has been looking for a job before last year. Last year it is already past. So here is applicable only past perfect continuous tense. But Selim has been looking for a job before last year. What has been used here? Here has been used has, which will not be has, but it will be had. Salim had been looking for a job before last year. They had not been attending classes for last 5 days. It is correct. They had not been attending classes for last 5 days. But the contraction had not is not correct. This will be like this. ADN apostrophe T. Hadn't. This will not be. After had there is an apostrophe. and not, but this is not correct contraction. This is correct contraction, hadn't. So okay, dear listeners, try to understand my words and try to read more on past perfect continuous tense. No more today. No more today. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.